And I realized that, like, the saying, I don't know how it goes, but like the saying of you want it so bad, or you want as much as you want to breathe, or something like that. Like, I always thought that was a bullshit saying. All the things that would have to align for you to even enter that mindset is like damn near impossible, right? But like halfway through this, I like realized that I was like, holy shit, I want this as bad as I want to breathe, because it consumed me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the None of Your Business podcast. Today we have a super special episode, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. But one thing that a lot of people are always interested in when you talk about the entrepreneurial space, somewhere out there, everybody hears that you should get into real estate and multifamily real estate. But as usual, I find that when it sounds great on an Instagram reel, but then when you put it into practice, sometimes that can be a different story. So we decided to bring someone that actually lives it to share with us the trials and tribulations of what that looks like. But also, super excited, we're going to talk about what's next for a rising entrepreneur that, much like us, begins to think about
what else can I do
next? What's next? Welcome in, Justin Held, to the None of Your Business podcast. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Let's jump in with multi-family real estate, the holy grail. Everybody wants to be involved in that space. You have been involved in that space. You've cut your teeth, learned the lessons, the school of hard knocks.
Yep.
Give us sort of the 30,000 foot view. Is it all that we think it's cracked up to be?
No.
It's not sexy at all.
Not
sexy at all. Yeah, I mean, I got into it when I bought my first apartment with the help of my dad when I was 15.
Wow.
So my first,
how many units was that?
Just one.
Oh,
it was
one.
like a condo.
One condo.
Yeah, it was like a duplex condo. But yeah, so I did that at 15, and then I remember a good story. My dad, I had my temps maybe at the time, but my dad had to drive me to the showing. And they wanted to sign the lease that day. And, I was 15. I was nervous. And I forgot to have them sign like the back page of the lease, which is the most important. And so I had to call them back. That was pretty embarrassing, but it's a good story to tell now,
How old were they?
Well, the story gets better because she's actually my cleaning lady now, the lady. But I don't know, 50s.
So she's like, who's this kid?
Who's this 15-year-old kid that's renting me the place?
Yeah, it was funny because my dad just waited in the truck.
Oh, he didn't even come and like hold your hand through the process. He was
like,
you're doing this all on your own.
Yep.
Oh man.
Okay, so how do we go? Where do we go from there? So you have the one.
Yeah. So then 16 or 17, I bought maybe one or two more buildings. He had to co-sign on the loan because you legally can't borrow money underage. And then, graduated and learned the ropes more. I didn't go to college, and then went on a tear.
So you're buying these places when you were in high school?
Correct.
What do your high school friends think of this?
I don't really think anyone knew.
They didn't know.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really think I disclosed that much. I don't know. My whole thing with high school is like, I just wanted to get out of high school.
Yeah.
Because I already knew what I was gonna do. I remember, my teachers were like, "You need to go to college," blah 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 blah, and like I said, I already knew what I was gonna do. And I actually joke with my parents now. I'm like, you guys should have just pulled me out of school after 8th grade.
Yeah.
Well, because that's 4 more years. So like real estate, the thing with real estate that people don't understand, and that I have such an advantage, is I have time.
Right.
So
you get a lot of runway to get started at 15.
Right. Yeah, my dad built houses and a couple apartment buildings. prior to me graduating. And then when I was about 19, I think we decided that together, he needed me, I needed him, and we started just building, so we built, I'm 26 now. In 5 or 6 years, we built maybe 100 million worth of apartments and assets. So,
and you own them all still, or do you? Okay.
yeah.
So we own a lot of investment properties, but they're all like single family homes.
Okay.
And we used to have a management company, and right now we're going to sell part of our portfolio. So I'm managing these units, and I'm like, the amount of time, energy, and effort it takes me to deal with our tenants. I love you guys, but to to deal with them, it's a lot of work. And so I go, okay, I know multifamily is the way, but I think about these single units and then multiply that by these large apartment complexes. Like, does it ever get like a little overwhelming or crazy, or do you feel like you just have killer systems in place? You don't have to deal with that.
I don't even know the systems that my team put in place.
Yeah.
It was just me just finding the right people, put them in the right spots, and then let them go. I don't get in the way of anything.
No
they
more
do.
Contracts, forgetting the last page. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, no. It's all online now.
Yeah, that should go.
Everything's streamlined online, like, rent and all that. So that's nice.
So that means that on the day-to-day, what participation, what do you do to guide the empire, the venture?
Well, it's complicated because I have 5 operating companies. I have 70 to 75 employees. We manage 130, 140 million in assets. So I don't know. I don't really, the hard thing for me is like, what do I tell people I do? Because I do a lot of different things. So I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I put together projects, I guess. I don't know.
Are you still actively growing? Are you trying to grow the business?
Yeah. But I just have all the right people in the right spots now. So now I can kind of, I built up my wealth over the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And now I can kind of explore other avenues.
Yeah.
But I still have to be involved with like the new construction projects, just because, I have to decide, what land to buy, what to build on that land, raise the money. But yeah, other than that, it's really, the hardest part, in my opinion, is the front end of it. So like you have to deal with the lawyers and the accountants and the bankers and the investors and like the city and the municipalities, architects, engineers. That to me, that's the hardest part. So like I stress a lot in that period of time, and then when plans are done and everything's kind of set up, and everything's approved, I hand it off to my construction company, bid it out, and then we start building it. And 3-4 months out, my management company
takes it over. Very nice.
Steps in and then starts pre-leasing, and then when it's all done, then we manage the asset, and then I have to go find.
Then you
the
go
next
do it
one.
again.
Yeah.
Stress out again.
So you said you're 26, and at some point, hopefully for everybody, you reach this point of where you start to say like, all right, so what do I do? Am I just gonna have 9,000 apartment complexes, which some people choose to do? They just create that into this giant business.
Right.
Other people have other passions and purposes in life.
Right.
And I understand you're sort of at that crossroads where you're beginning to look at like, so what's next? Tell us first about that process. Like, you just wake up one day and you're like,
no.
I
want to do something else.
No, this is, you guys are going to find this really, really interesting. And I'm glad I get to talk about this. So, couple months, or maybe it was like a week and a half before Christmas. Okay, let me back up a little bit. So we built a new office building, and it's really convenient for me. So like attached to my office, I have like a full closet, full bathroom. So I don't know what happened, but a day or two before what I'm about to tell, I told my assistant to get me like an air mattress, because I'm like, all the greats, they
Sleep in their office.
they all have slept in their office. And I need to do that.
We were just talking about this. Elon Musk in his bio said the same
So
thing.
like, So in my mind, I'm like, shit, I got to do that.
Yeah.
And I did it one night, and then it turned into two, and I kind of like entered in some type of like trance in my head. Well, and I really like during that period of time, it was 10 days, and I didn't know it was 10 days until the last night. And I counted, I'm like, I thought I was here for 5 days.
Yeah.
So like time during that period, like time didn't matter to me, which is really weird. And I realized that, like, the saying, I don't know how it goes, but like the saying of you want it so bad, or you want as much as you want to breathe, or something like that. Like, I always thought that was a bullshit saying. Like, because if you really, really think about it, it is. Because like, how could you, like, all the things that would have to align for you to even enter that mindset is like damn near impossible, right? But like halfway through this, I like realized that I was like, holy shit, I want this as bad as I want to breathe, because it consumed me. It was nothing else. So yeah, it was really cool experience. I didn't realize, like I said, I thought it was 5 days or 5 nights, because towards the end, people were coming up to me and being like, are you okay?
Yeah, you're gonna go home.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm doing really well. Like, because I'm like learning about myself. And that was like during that period, I realized like I need to like I have more to give than just building apartments and businesses and stuff like that. Like, I want to motivate people or entertain people or whatever that is. I feel like I have a lot of knowledge, because I went through so much, and I've done so much at such a young age, that I just feel like I have more to give.
We talk about that a lot. Like, when you really start to find something that you truly are passionate about, you lose track of all time and space.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you're describing, is that you were in that state of mind where you just lost track of all time and space. You were in a state, we call it like being in a state of play. Like when you're really, really young and you're a kid and you're outside and you're out there with your friends and you're out playing, you lose track of time. All of a sudden it's like past dinner time and your parents are screaming at you, because you're just in this place that's really aligned with what you need to do. So in that time of introspection, when you were like, I'm figuring out, like, I have more to give, what are some things that came up for you that you're like, I want to give through this medium, like entertainment? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. So what I realize is, like, when I look back at my life, I feel like I've like, how do I describe this? Like, misunderstood maybe is a good word. Like, I always, like, in a relationship or like with family members or friends, like, I feel like I could never like relate, or like people wouldn't understand what I was trying to say. So we're trying out music right now to just explore, like, express myself, because I feel like I don't know how else to express myself, because me just talking to someone, like, for one, it's hard to relate to someone in my shoes just because of what I've done. And that's been a challenge. And I don't know, I feel like music kind of puts me out of my comfort zone, and it pushes me, so we're gonna see if I can sing or not.
Well, I love it. You had shared a little bit outside of the episode about your first experience, and you shared that you felt like it was hard. It was harder than what you thought.
Yeah.
But then you then lean back on that first lease, and I forgot to have him sign the last page, which was the most important page. Yeah. That was equally as hard. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You dive in, and then here's the great news: like, you figured it out in the multifamily space, and now you're on. Like, you've chosen to reset the journey and relearn. Like, go back to being not the smartest one in the room.
Right.
Go back to being the one where you're looking at your own work, and afterwards you're like, hey, I didn't have him sign the signature page.
Right.
How are you preparing your mind for that process so that you don't give up?
Yeah, you almost have to, like, it's like very humbling, actually, getting in front of a mic and actually like trying to sing in front of people. So like that's very humbling. And like I remember the night before I couldn't even sleep. And I remember being young, like 18, 19, in, you know, the field I'm in, and feeling that way, you know, like I'm uncomfortable, like, can I do this? But yeah, you just have to like, you're starting from, it's hard because you in one industry, you grow, and you're like at a good peak. And then, you know, with music or whatever, you know, you become a beginner. So you start at the ground level. So it's very humbling. It really is.
Did you always know like music would be an outlet for you, or was that something that's been recent when you've been trying to bridge that like connection and communication gap to share your gifts?
Right. So I was actually pretty good at singing when I was like 17 or 18, and I stopped.
What were you singing in? Was it like were you like in a you weren't in a musical?
No,
No way.
no.
I was like, no way. That was
In the car.
dumbest. That was the dumbest question I've asked on None of Your Business, y'all. But like, no. So no,
you
it
were
like
in a
you were.
musical? Okay.
So you were in a musical. I could see
No.
that.
Can you do I look like I would be in
No,
the middle
not
school?
at all.
You were in
That's why I was
Oklahoma. That was great. Okay.
No, so you were singing, like you just had a passion for it. We're singing.
I love singing. And then I stopped, and I think I've always known I've wanted to do a lot. It's just like you have to build your base.
Yeah.
Like right now, me sitting here right now, like I have the money to do it. I have the time to do it. Like I have the resources to do it. Like back then I didn't have anything,
Right.
you know? So it's all about timing with anything, you know, like I have a lot of other things I want to do besides what I'm doing now. It's just like I want to write a book, for example. Like it's just like you have to like just be patient, because like you do so much, and it's like you can only, when you do so much and you're spread so thin, you have to go slow with everything. Like I get you want to do XYZ, but like it's all timing,
Right.
you know, and it's just slowly getting there. And then finally when the time's right, then you go for it.
Well, obviously, we don't know what we don't know, but as you look ahead, what do you think are some of the biggest obstacles that you're going to need to solve for in order to bring this to full fruition?
I just got to be able to sing.
That's
Really?
interesting. Well, we were just talking about this, like, but that's actually not true, because
Right.
there are so many people who can sing great,
Extremely talented.
but they don't really embrace like the personal brand, the marketing side, because if you can sing great in your shower, but we never know about it, then there's no albums to buy. There's like, it's just, so one, being able to sing, but then I also believe that development of your personal brand, marketing yourself and being comfortable with that, selling yourself and being comfortable with that, because you might be a better singer than me, but I might know some people, and I'm really good at selling myself. I convince them, and they might have just heard your demo reel, and they're like, okay, that was good, but then, and mine was not that good, but I sold myself, like, oh. And so I think that there's all of those steps beyond, and that's one of the interesting things, is that ironically, it's the people that are the most talented in the world are not always the people that are out there serving. The most talented doctors might be practicing somewhere and be barely making enough money to keep their doors open, but they're just amazing at being a doctor, but they're not good at marketing and sales. I think that in the entertainment world, it is a lot of marketing and sales, right? Like, because, you know, we look at like these shows like, you know, American Idol and America's Got Talent, and we see these really talented people, and you're like, how come nobody knows who these people are? And those people, in a lot of cases, are more talented than the people that are making millions of dollars, you know, doing concerts at SoFi Stadium. But it's having talented coupled with the right relationships and great marketing and great sales. And that's a difficult thing, because now the transition is, up to this point, you've built beautiful projects, and the building, the asset was this tangible thing. I could look at it and it's, oh, you have 100 doors, and there's this many one bedrooms and this many two bedrooms. Now the asset becomes you.
Right.
So now, like, we're looking at it, like, there's the asset. And then the question would, well, can he sing? And then you sing, and we're like, okay, well, then is it marketable?
Right.
Can he sell tickets? Can he sell, you know, can he get downloads? Can he, all of those things, right? And that that's all of the unknown in this new industry that you're
Right.
going into.
Yeah. It's exciting.
I love it.
And you know, that's why we're here,
Right.
you know, to build connections and yeah, see what happens. I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm really excited because it's a challenge and it's going to take time and effort, you know. So I'm excited to try it, see what happens
I
for
love
sure, you know.
As much as like it's hard in your story to know that you felt misunderstood, it actually will benefit you moving forward, because I also think too, like when you put yourself out there in any industry, there's so much that comes along with visibility, right? And like when you're building these multifamily units, you're not having to put yourself out there in the same way you will as a musician.
Right.
And it's like figuring out, how do I like get that right mindset? How do I take like the people that love me, the people that hate me, the people that, you know, don't understand me? And it's, you know, you've already been through some of that. So figuring out how you can translate that into this new thing is going to be really killer
It's going
too.
to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. It'll be
I have
fun.
a lot to say. I
Yeah.
really have a lot to say.
Now you get to see it through
Yeah,
music.
so so
Uh-huh.
I'm excited to just express myself that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a journey.
Now, have you written a song yet?
Yeah.
You have. When is it like, is it going to be the first one you put out, or are you
Yeah.
going to save that one?
Oh, first one.
Ah.
It's not. I still have to. The hook. I changed the hook, so I actually just got it last night.
Nice.
Or on the plane.
Oh.
On the plane. I got it sent over. There's a few changes, but within a week or two, it will be close for
All right,
sure.
Nice.
so you have to give us wherever you put it. You have
I'll
to
send
give
it
us the
to you.
link.
So then we can put
We'll
it
put
on
it in
here.
the show notes, so everybody can at least. I mean, it doesn't have to be like on iTunes or anything. This is where
Right.
where can people listen to it, so
Right.
that
Right.
then we can give people
Yeah.
a feel for where you're at,
Yeah.
and then of course you'll have to make sure that you keep us up to date
Yeah, for
on
sure.
the journey, so we can continue to share
For
with the
sure.
audience.
Are
I'm
you
sure
coming to
people
the
are
Cute
gonna
Up
get-
retreat?
Yeah,
I know
I'm
he
working
should.
on
You're
it.
coming,
Are you
right?
going to sing there? Is that what's going
No,
on?
no.
Oh, okay.
Full-time
I'm gonna
singer.
wrestle Michael there. If he comes.
Okay.
Full-time singer at the Queued Up retreat.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I hear
awesome.
there's going to be performances, so I mean, why not?
Yeah.
We'll throw them up on
Yeah,
stage.
so we'll see. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let Jackson. I'm just gonna go
You're
there,
in great hands.
make
Yeah.
the music, and
I love
Yeah.
it. That's
and
very
I
exciting.
appreciate Jackson for introducing me to you guys. You know, UFC 309 was a blast.
Yep,
Yes.
Even though Michael lost, but
I know.
yeah, it was.
Well, we
That's
look
great.
forward to doing a lot more
Look
with
forward
you.
to hearing your
Yeah.
music.
And
Your
everybody looks
expression
forward
of
to hearing
self.
your music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Justin,
I
thank
love
you
it.
so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, make sure that you plug in Justin Held. Make sure you follow him on social media. Let's all hold him accountable to this next chapter of his life. We're going to put his demo right here in the show notes. Check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. We'll be back again next week with a brand new edition of the None of Your Business podcast.